Live. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Matt Hayes, your host, the Airbnb Beast, over here in good old freezing cold St. Louis, Missouri. And I've got the distinguished pleasure to bring on a buddy of mine, Terrence the Menace. Now, Terrence, where are you at again? Help me out here, bro.
I live in Arizona, man.
Oh, fuck. Nice weather then right now, huh?
Queen Creek, dude. It's 65 and days here. It's still blue skies. Not a cloud in the sky.
Damn. Yeah, not us. It's 19 degrees outside. 19 degrees for us, man.
I ain't having that. I'll visit, but then I want to leave it behind.
Yeah. Shit, I don't blame you, dude. Well, hey, thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for jumping on Instagram earlier. My kid said I need to work on growing my Instagram following more. Generally just been a Facebook guy. So again, man, you got some pretty cool shit going on. I know we were chopping it up a few minutes ago, but this whole Menace Con that you guys put on, I mean, and it's so new, but can you tell me a little bit more about it, man? I want to hear. I want to know.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, it started because we just wanted to see if we could help some people. It's like, man, learn. So we thought, hey, let's throw this free event. It started out as a free event where we're just going to get 30, 40, and it just grew into this thing where more and more speakers wanted to come in. And one speaker at Menace Con 1, the first one that we had, we didn't pay one speaker. It just kind of spiraled out of control in a good way. People said, "Let's do this again. Let's hit it. Let's hit it at the beginning of January." They're plugged in. It's like, oh, this is my year. Things are gonna change. All this shit that people just say over and over and over again. And the reason they say it over, they don't hang around people that actually go out and get it done at the end of the day. Hang around talkers. They don't hang around doers. And so we said, man, let's get a room full of people that just get shit done, that are doers, and see if we can actually help with 700 people. We had a list of people on a stage that had never ever Ed Milet, Bradley, Sean Whalen, Kent Clothier, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. Around right now, like let's see if we can do it. They're paying attention to the wrong things. They're paying attention to CNN.com, Fox News, whatever else.com. They're paying attention to the White House, not their house, and they're getting bad opportunity. They got to run and hide, sit in the fetal position in the clock. And so we said, man, let's put some people on the stage that are expanding right now, more money into their businesses because they see there's massive opportunity now. And let's see if we can help some people see things differently. And so that's how it started. Here we are. That's the gist of it.
Well, that's badass, dude. Hey, is there any way we're getting kind of like an audio delay back and forth? I don't know, maybe if it's the ear pods.
Here, let me take it out. Let's see. Hold on.
Okay. I should pour myself a glass of whiskey, man. There you go. I don't know what you think.
How's it now?
Oh, much better, dude.
Better?
Yeah, dude. You don't mind if I have a little whiskey, do you?
Oh, dude, I drink up, bro.
Yeah.
Drink up.
It's the podcast is real estate and whiskey. So
you just needed a reason to have a glass with virtually. I don't know what. How can I drink at noon every single day? I'm gonna say whiskey done.
1 o'clock, man. 1 o'clock, dude. It's a little past.
1 o'clock.
Yeah. So, dude, you had some big fucking names on this stage, man. I mean, you had Natalie Dawson. I'm gonna lead with the best. because Natalie's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Brandon Dawson. You had Gary Brecka out there. You had some other folks.
That's actually the second time he came to MenaceCon 1.
Wow. How'd you get hooked up with Brandon? Because we went through his platforming about a year ago, platforming process and everything for our company. Brandon's a pretty badass dude.
Going to Growth Cons, met him, and then I did a 10x 360 with him. We went to Mastro's out here in Scottsdale, and they out to dinner, and I got at a table with Brandon and Natalie, but nobody was interesting or talking, so it ended up pretty much, it was an hour conversation. Natalie and Brandon chopping it up, and so we got to know each other really, really well. I started the beginning of a friendship, and then just always seeing him, man, hitting him on social, DM back and forth. When it came time, because they were this close from speaking at the first one. They were super close at MenaceCon, but they had to be in Florida that day. If we had done it the day before, they were going to come to MenaceCon 1, but Brecka came with Brecka. So Brecka came to the first one, and he had and he had a freaking killer time. And
That's
so
awesome.
We're in the back of the room. His phone, he's texting Grant. Grant saying, "How's the event?" He's like, "Man, it's awesome. It's insane." I said, "We want Brandon and Natalie for the next one. So your job is to go and what a great time that they had, so that when I hit him again, they'll move some, collaborate, and show up." And Brett has become a great friend. He obviously showed up flat out. We sent these speaker boxes with these Menace shoes and Menace shirt. Even on his Instagram, he was wearing our shoes. He flat out told me, he says, "Anything, let me know. I'm there. I want to do everything with you guys." And so people complain that it's like, I don't know the right people. It's like, well, you get to know the right people.
Right.
Because it opens doors for you that you could bang on your entire life and never get open on you. But when the right guy shows up with the key, he'll walk you through the freaking door that you get on. And that's really how we put everything together, is we just we make connect. But it came from investing a lot of money into that we've done over the years, where those connections kind of were birthed. And when it came, like we just, we had those doors that were opened up. I mean, Sean Whalen was to get, because we didn't have a real strong connection to him. We do now, like we got him and all that shit now. But it took making a great impression on Aaron Wagner saying, "Bro, let me call him for you." And he picked the phone up and called it his back. And we did a lot of shit to get his attention. And Sean was our closeout, him to close out for a reason, because a lot of Menace was inspired by Sean, actually. And getting the right connections matter, but you got to get in the right rooms, or you ain't ever going to get the right connections. Is pull your freaking wallet out. I don't care how scared you are. If you can't afford it, you may as well put everything into it to get into the right rooms, because, man, you can get 10 years of good shit in a short period of time with the right people. So that's how we got connected with Brandon and Natalie. Brecka showed up, went back, got in their ear, because they're business partners, obviously, with 10X Health. Fly all over. Brecka's in their jet all the time. So the key is how do you create you when you're not in the room? That's the biggest thing for MenaceCon, is we were able to create conversations without us having to be there. Brecka came, had a great time. So he said, like, you should really do this. And Natalie, when I talked to her, she said that's what is, because Brecka America's speaking schedule came through, he was going back to MenaceCon. And when she saw that, because their business part, that was like, man, we need to go. As a matter of fact, we booked Natalie. I was getting ready to get off the phone because we didn't say anything about Brandon. She's like, what about this event? And he told me he needs to be there. It's exactly what happened. Asked if Brandon could come speak. We didn't ask if Brandon could come speak, even though we wanted him. But creating those conversations in the right rooms where you don't always have is such a powerful thing that I've learned from throwing MenaceCon.
Dude, you are 100% right. 100% right when it comes to people and getting those rooms. Like, and I've known that because my wife and I've been going to GrowthCon now 4 years, and it's all about connecting with people. And I've made some lifelong friendships from the people in the crowd that paid the $5,000, the $10,000 to sit in those seats. Yes, it's a huge expense. Can I get it for $59 watching online? Absolutely, you can get it for $59 and watch the same guy speaking and get the same content. But the energy in the room, and in the breakout sessions, and in the going to the bar and seeing all these people, and I think that's where people are missing the boat so much, is that they see all these people doing all this big shit, and they think that they're just getting overlooked and overlooked and overlooked. Well, you're not even in the fucking room. And if you're not going to get in the room, well, that's your own damn fault. And so you're 100% right, man. And I've noticed that since I've recently signed up with Collective Genius, is that group is just 400 amazing real estate investors and entrepreneurs doing big shit, all willing to share and talk and collaborate and stuff like that. And yeah, man, dude, thanks so much for being here today. I don't know if I've already said that, but seriously, man, because I know you and I haven't talked since the last time.
So one thing, I know how you meant it. I just want to make sure the audience, because content, you don't get the same content. You think you get the same content. It's the conversation film and the content that happened that you're never going to see happen because you brought just the relationships, and people think that the $59 is the same content. Yes, or you Cardone's same speech on stage, Alex Rodriguez same speech on stage, getting the stuff that you ain't ever going to see on camera with your $59. So youth events, my ticket cost $10,000, yours cost $59. Impression that it's the same event, and I know exactly what you meant. It's not this. You said a second ago, you're like, you're not even in the room. You think that the room is going to capture for $59. That ain't what we're talking about, bro. That ain't what we're talking.
Yeah, no, it's not. And you're 100% right with that. Thank you for clarifying there. So when's the next MenaceCon? When's the next one?
It'll be January or February. We got a bunch of mini events. So before we our last event, we planned we're going to host what's called Menace Market. So this is going to be a specific event where we're going to have different kinds of speakers come in and marketing. Like it's the most important thing in a business. It's one of the biggest reasons. You know, what does Grant say? There's three, and Brandon's adopted this. The three P's of marketing. People don't know how to get their name out there. What's been really cool that have kind of latched onto our brand and stuff recently. Like Bradley went on stage. He's like, man, how long you guys been doing this? And we told him, I said, actually, we became a business April 2022. He's like, you got to be kidding me. You know, but what we've done a great position, the brand quickly, and we promoted it and marketed it in such a way where we've gotten a lot of it. He left our event. He left on Wednesday and went clear across the country, $1 million mastermind in Florida. And he calls me the next speaker, Brandon Brittingham. I don't know if you know him. If you don't, man, he'd be a good connect. I say this because he said, man, you're getting the attention of the right people. And this goes back to what I was to make sure that people are having conversations about your brand without you being there. If you're promoting, first of all, you got to have a brand worth promoting.
Yeah.
Why Menace Marketing Live is, man, how do you promote? How do you position your brand? How much energy and money and time promoting up the wrong freaking road instead of just making, what would my dream, like if I could create my dream, who would I want to know about my brand? Like, go after that first, because if you get 100x the exposure than you would just staying in book thing, posting one day a week. Like, go get the attention of somebody big. Dream list be. That's how Menace Con happened, man. We made a dream list. I said, I can't remember if I said live, but we got every single person except for the card through the event. So it wasn't a loss. We're just not big enough where I want to collaborate with him. So this is the intention. The intentionality behind it is, but we got to be big enough to where he's like, man, I do want to collaborate with those guys. So July, it's going to be July, Menace Marketing Live. That entire event is going to be, how do you get it into more leads? How do you turn those leads into customers? And how do you create an environment where the way that you want, so you're not on a hamster wheel. So that's in July, and then we'll do the big again probably in January. We're looking at venues and nailing down time, that fun stuff. But the one thing I would say most people, when they throw something big like that, period, because they don't have another big thing on their plate that keeps pulling them. That's why before we even left this last Menace Con, we wanted to already have the next event, because I knew my team needed to stay white hot, because there were a bunch of problems that we had to figure out how to solve. We were moving mountains up until the day before. We had speakers that were calling us, oh man, I need you to change that. We were messing with schedules. And so I knew how important it was for my team to have the next thing. So as soon as Menace Con was over, there was no break. There was no celebrating. There was it. We did one dinner. We all looked at each other and said, hell of an event. Half of that dinner, we're talking about the next events. And I think as entrepreneurs, as people, keep pressure on you and your team so that you can continue to expand and push the way that you want. So anyways, again, a bunch of extra stuff you didn't even ask me about, but there you go.
No, it's all good, man. Hey, I appreciate you dropping the knowledge. For some reason, we still have a little bit of a delay connection issue. I don't know what's our there's just like a little bit of a delay, so it's kind of overlapping. But I don't know, maybe if that's just a connection in your room, or I don't know if it's on my end. I am hardwired to fiber, but man, I will tell you this, that I got to get that one on my schedule next. The next event you guys have, my wife and I would love to come out and hang out with you guys and see what you're up to and chop it up a bit. And if you need someone to talk about Airbnbs, I'd love to be your guy for that. Hopefully by then I'm up to my goal of, maybe 50, 60 by then. So let's talk about real estate. Like, obviously this is what this podcast is real estate. Now you just put on this banger, massive, awesome event, but what, when did you get into real estate, and what kind of inspired you to do it in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know if I was in, people think like, oh, you got to be inspired. I wanted to do it because one, I knew the rest would get less of my money if I did it, and two, it's simple and easy to understand. That was the whole reason I got into real estate. I'm like, man, if my tenants, or I should say, if my property is not cash flowing, I know why. It's because my tenant's not paying me. So I just like the simplicity of it. And then obviously when you talk about making sure the government doesn't get a bunch of extra money that they shouldn't have, most of the houses that I bought have been in the Midwest. So we've done probably 1,500 houses out there, flipped 1,500 houses. And now we're doing a 75 million launching Menace Capital. We're probably 60 days from that going live, but that's going to build the rent stuff. We're going to go out, and the goal there is to do $1 billion in this for real estate. And a lot of people are sleeping on it. And so I is the time. There's a lot of capital, a lot of dry powder sitting out there. I like real estate for that standpoint. It is simple. It's a complicated equation to understand how it works. I don't know your history there, but I invested in some of the too in the wrong kind of areas, and that sucked. That freaking degree. So I think any doesn't get involved in real estate, they hate money because they're giving away a bunch of it to the IRS that they shouldn't.
Man, I'm in it because I love the cash flow, the depreciation, the tax advantages, all that cool stuff that you said. But for me and my wife, it's always like the big chunks of cash that just come with that. Whether, we did a wholesale or, a few $100,000 worth of wholesales, or we flipped a couple houses, or we refinanced a loan, or refinanced a deal and pulled some cash out, or shit sold a couple. Like I do think I'm done with selling real estate. I'm at the point in my life where I don't necessarily need to do that. I'm constantly improving the assets that we have in our portfolio. Because yes, we have 33 Airbnbs. I've got 4 more. They're still under renovation, but I also have a slew of long-term rental properties and some commercial buildings. So I got this really big mix going on. And man, I love the game. I love the challenges with it. Last year, we got our teeth kicked in when it came to flipping houses. We scaled up our flipping division to meet the supply of this hedge fund that was in town, and they pulled out. So we had 42 houses that were under renovation when they pulled out. And so we had to quickly adapt and figure out what we're going to do with all those assets, which quickly the liabilities.
What'd you do?
No, I own them. So they weren't even under contract. We were under renovation on all these properties. It was a motherfucker, man. I mean, I will tell you that was probably the most stress I've ever encountered in my life between, I'd say, July and October. Actually, July and November. So this is not even we are out of the water on all of them now, thank God. Converted some to long-term rental, converted some to Airbnb, re-renovated some of the houses because the renovations that they required were like dumbed down shit. Formica, cheap cabinets, cheap this, cheap that. Well, nobody would pay that in this market. They'd pay that a year ago, when you could fricking slap paint on the walls and fricking make $100,000. Well, all of our equity quickly evaporated. We wholesaled some properties, we retailed some flips, but we moved all that real estate. We lost $1 million doing it, but it is what it is. I mean, we made a few million prior leading up to that, so it's the year was rough, but anybody that was selling or flipping houses in 2020, 2021, or 2022 was just enjoying the freaking peak of the roller coaster, man. And we weren't quite ready. We did get caught off guard. I should have maybe saw some shit coming in March and April, but we closed out April with our best freaking month ever in the history of business, and just thought it would keep going. So we were making hires, and unfortunately we hired some wrong people because we hired too quickly, some people that weren't necessarily qualified. And now we've completely scaled our operations back, and now we're just focusing on Airbnbs, which is our bread and butter. And so, when I say I'm done selling real estate, like we're always going to wholesale. I'll always do a couple of flips, but much more on a conservative level than what we were trying to accomplish. Like I I just want to own 100 Airbnbs, maybe 200 total properties, and let that business and work on that portfolio rather than being so diverse. Because that's the problem with as entrepreneurs and investors, is that we're always chasing that new shiny ball that's bouncing. Oh, I should get into this. I should get into this, and I should get into this. And I got some really good advice at the CG event a couple of months ago. And Mike Watson got on stage, and he said a lot of us in the room need to stop thinking like this, thinking wide, and get real narrow. So dig an inch wide and a mile deep, rather than a mile wide and an inch deep. And that hit home with me. And I'm like, you know what? It's about time I just get focused on one thing and one thing only. And so that's where we are. And that's what kind of, that's where we are. And my wife's managing about half our properties. We got them spread out a couple of different states, and we're really just honing in on that business. And I'm helping people too get into the Airbnb game, because it is such an easy game to get into, and it has such a good reward, rather than, putting a shitty tenant in a property. And excuse my, I'm not accusing somebody of being shitty. I'm just saying I'm not a good property manager when it comes to picking qualified tenants. I've just had a slew of shitty ones, man. And I'm done rehabbing my houses every 3 to 5 years, because they move out. I got to paint the walls and carpet and fix this and fix all that. All that fucking cash flow I made's gone. But when I'm doing Airbnb, sure, we might have to deal with some headaches here and there, but that house is in pristine condition every freaking day. It's professionally clean. You know what I mean? It's just the maintenance is up to date. I can afford the maintenance. I'm making $3,000 positive cash flow on one single family house. The furnace breaks. It sucks. You got to drop $7,000, but that's only 2.5 months worth of cash flow. Whereas a long-term tenant, that's 2 years worth of cash flow.
Right. Yeah, dude. That's how figure out where you want to be and be there. What's the name of that mastermind you're in?
So, Collective Genius. You should totally look it up, dude. I think
who runs it?
Jason Medley, and Leon would be the guy that you'd want to check in with.
Yeah.
If you
just no idea.
They're not
who
big,
those guys even are.
They're not really big social media guys. I feel like I'm always selling Collective Genius, and I don't, trust me, I don't make anything off this, but I will tell you, I've been to a lot of events, masterminds, groups, coaches, classes, all this shit. Hey, bro, you just flipped your camera. I don't know if you noticed that. I can see your couch and TV right now.
Yeah.
But
the heck?
While you figure that out, I'll throw down on CG. But man, I'll tell you what, this group of guys and gals, for that matter, has just been an absolute pleasure to be a part of, and I feel blessed to be a part of it. And hey, there you go. Like Jason's big thing, and when he started this, and he started, I think, about 10 or 12 years ago. He wanted to create a community that there wasn't someone always on stage trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And so what he did was he brought in basically top people in the field of real estate and just grew upon that, and then grew the event bigger and grew the community tighter. And he's always gone by this motto: check your ego at the door. And that's really saying something, because you got some massive players in the room. I mean, there are billions and billions of dollars of worth of wealth in this room of, I'm going to say 200 people. And with that said, like, it's so true. So, you listen to the speakers, and then you go to the breakout rooms. And then for me, the best experience I had with it was my second trip. My second one was at the bar. Was all of these guys just opened up like, hey, I need help with this, or you're doing this, or hey, grab this guy, he's really good at this, or you want to know sub 2? Oh, hey, go talk to Matt, he's the Airbnb guy. Just all those different kinds of collaboration was just freaking awesome. And I think I'm hooked for life, to be honest with you, man. I mean, I'm blessed to be a part of this community.
How'd you find out about it?
So I was referred twice. And at the time, I was in a bad mood the first time, and I'm like, oh, fuck, another damn thing to go take my money. How much is it? $2,500 a month? And I'm like, oh, screw you. I'm already signed up for Grant's shit. I was platforming at the time with Brandon, and I'm like, man, I'm getting broke here, right?
Yeah.
I'm spending all my money on this shit. And then the second time, I was like, you know what? Let me set up a call. So I set up a call with Leon. And Leon went over all of it, and I'm like, oh, man, I'll give this a try. And then I go to the first event, and I was just hooked. Like, no pitch, no level up product. Like, the community is it. And then there's 2 communities. So they have the Premier, which I'm in, which is kind of like all the big dogs. And then you have to have like 100 deals a year or more, or 100 rentals. You have to be in that game. Which we easily qualify. And then the Premier, or excuse me, the Select, I believe, is just under that. So people that are in a 25 to 75 realm of deals a year or rentals owned. And then the guys in the room, I mean, I'm a small fish, and I love that feeling when I'm in a room with people like that, because I hate being the big fish. Because I went, and this is no knock on Cody Sperber's event, went out to it, loved it. My boy DJ was there. I took somebody that worked with me at the time. Had an awesome time, awesome event. I met some cool people, but I turned into being the big fish in the crowd. As soon as I told them, hey, we got this many flips going on. This is what we're doing. Airbnbs, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, shit, I haven't even done a deal yet. And I'm like, well, you're in the right room. And then, you talk to so many other people, and it's so hard to find anybody that kind of has the level of expertise that I did. And I'm like, DJ and I were just sitting there at the table, like, he's more than qualified to be on the stage. And I'm like, I should be on the stage. Like, I'm doing the same amount of deals as the guy that's speaking. So maybe anyways. And I'm not trying to brag by all means. I'm just trying to, like, find my room. And I found it at CG. And so, sorry I was going on for so long about that.
Oh, you're good, man. I like that.
There's a room for everybody, dude. And
I'm in the boardroom billionaire with Kent, and it's same kind of thing. Just super studs.
Yeah, I mean, guys that if you have a question, or you're having difficulty navigating, not necessarily the day-to-day, but more like visionary type shit. You can, drop Brandon a text, or Natalie a text, or whatever. Or, Natalie, I'm having trouble creating this leg of people process in my business. Like, that's who I would call and get that advice. Because I've made the mistake in years past is that I take advice from anybody that would give it to me. And holy shit, is that the worst thing that you could possibly do in business.
For sure.
You take advice from people that have been where you want to go.
Yeah.
You don't take advice from your uncle that rented to your grandpa or whatever, and now they don't talk no more. Oh, they had a bad real estate experience, or I know someone who lost their ass. Like, that's such bad advice. Like, you don't even know the situation.
Yep.
And anyways, man, I could go on all day about that shit, but so you got some, I love one thing that you said early on, and you were on a roll there, so I didn't want to interrupt. But people need to worry about their house and stop worrying about what's going on in the White House. And dude, I believe that so much to my core, because so many people always want to talk about the bullshit that they can't control, whether it's the war in Ukraine, or whether it's the classified documents, or him falling off a bike, or Trump's tweet, or Trump getting investigated, or Biden fucking up a speech. Like, I get it. It's entertaining. Guys, but that's noise. It's not news. News to me would be interest rates rising or economic trends. But you need to fix your own shit before you start worrying about that. And man, people get so fucking worked up about politics, bro. It's crazy. I can't even compete in that world because they get so passionate about it. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, just focus on your business, focus on your marriage, focus on your kids.
People like drama.
Yes, they do. And man, I'll tell you what, I've known people that the first thing, like first communication, like I have with them, is they talk about something wrong in their life. Like you have that friend or you have that person, like I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And then boom, they go into some negative bullshit that's going on. And I get so fed up with that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, peace out. And I don't even want to talk to them. Like I've literally cut people out of my life and they don't even know I've cut them out of my life because they go that route. When me, all I want to talk about is positive shit in business. And yeah, business comes with negative crap you have to deal with. But I want to figure out, how can we scale this thing to the next level? Mm-hmm. That's why what you're doing, man, is freaking amazing. And more people need to freaking do this type of shit. You know what? I mean, get involved with Menace. I mean, whatever you guys have to offer, sign me up. Let's take it to the next level. That's the mentality that people need to have because shit's real, dude, and we got to get after it. Because Gary Vee always fucking said you hit the lottery by being born. Well, it's true, man. We did. So you got one life. How the fuck you gonna live it? On the couch, bitching? What are you gonna do, right?
Well, I just think for me, people in my life know I've cut them out. I'm the guy that in my family, people they don't talk shit around me. They don't criticize. They don't complain. They don't like my wife's family. They're very selective what they say around me. People my kids, they know they don't complain. I mean, I walk in a room and my son is giving it to my wife, complaining about school. I walk into a room, he immediately shuts up.
Yep.
And that's how I like it. People, they think I'm an asshole, and I'm like, whatever you got to think. I just want you to know that your negativity and complaining, I ain't participating in it. If we're in the same room, I'm going to say something about it. I'll leave the room.
Amen. Amen.
I'll leave the room. I'm more worried about what I think of me than what you think of me.
Absolutely, dude.
So.
Well, fantastic, dude. I know we've been on here for a little bit. I've taken up a couple hours of your day. I know you got some cool shit to do, and I love hearing the big things. I mean, just keep posting the success, man, because I love that stuff. And going back to the negative crap, like that's where the haters are born because they're so pissed that you got successful and you got all these awesome people on stage and they're still trying to figure out how to put together their little meetup in their own little town. And well, maybe you need to take a book out of Terrence and his partners and his people's page and level up your shit and get in the big rooms that are doing big shit and invite them to your event and don't stop inviting them after the first time. I'm that way. I invite people. I have invited so many people to be on my podcast, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah,
until I get annoying, and it's just what it takes, man. So, anyways, bro, thanks for being here.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right. And I love Grant's line: if they don't know you, they ain't gonna flow you.
Facts.
I told that to my kids, man. They're like, "Oh, that makes so much sense," and I'm like, "Best known beats best."
Are you going to be at GrowthCon in Vegas?
So I have a scheduling conflict, or I would so be there. This is I've been going. My wife and I have gone to the 4 previous ones. This is the only one we're gonna miss. But yeah, we'll be at the next one for sure, without a doubt.
Awesome, bro. Look forward to it.
Cool, my man. Catch up with you later. Let me know if you ever need anything. Okay, dude.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. We'll see you.
See you, my man. Bye.
All right, bye.